Hello boys and girls, on my desk right now is another SCX24 build. I love scale trail trucks. Most of my micro crawlers are actually scale trail trucks. Check out my channel and you'll see many of these trucks in action. Today I am building another one based on the SCX24 platform. I found this Land Rover Defender body on AliExpress. In fact, Injora used to sell this body a while back. They no longer offer it, but it can still be found from other sellers. It is designed to be adapted to the Xiaomi Jimny as well as the SCX24. Xiaomi Jimny is 1/16th scale, bigger than a SCX24. So in order for it to work on a SCX24, it asks for the wheelbase to be extended by pairing the C10/Bronco JOU front links with Deadbolt rear links, commonly known as the C-bolt setup. You may ask, if you want a Defender, why not just get a Traxxas TRX 4M? I'm more interested in two-door trucks, and that is what this body is, the D90 short wheelbase Land Rover Defender model. Once again, I am using RampCrab's LCG chassis. I've built a couple of rigs using variants of this chassis already. They are good value and can be easily adapted for various types of bodies. My first build using this chassis is this mighty beast I called Beatarella. It is based on the longer version of the chassis for the Gladiator and the Power Wagon. The second one is this Suzuki Jimny using a shorter version of the chassis. Again, please go check out the build videos of these two rigs on my channel. And now with this Defender, I am again using the shorter version of the chassis, but the variant with bumper mount supports. The way the body attaches to the chassis rails is by using the stock Jeep JOU bumper mounts, both in the front and the back. I've never had a SCX24 Jeep JOU before, so I had to purchase Injora's aluminum bumper mounts for the back, and I found that I needed to enlarge the holes in order for the adapters to fit. This is what it looks like in the back. It's a two metal rods. In the front, we have these threaded standoffs for the bolts to fit into. In the front, I'm just using the plastic bumper mount from a SCX24 Gladiator. Plastic because the bolts supplied for the body are larger than the commonly used M1.4 bolts. So the plastic bumper mount means I can just screw them through without having to drill the threads out. The assembly of the chassis is fairly easy. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comment section. The chassis includes a flat AX24 skid plate made of brass. There is the choice of mounting the motor forward or backward. The motor I am using is this Injora Purple Viper. This is the smaller brushless outrunner motor Injora offers. Since it's small and light, I have no problem mounting it rear facing, so I can have the heavier battery up front for better weight bias. RampCrab chassis comes with these 3D printed battery tray and sliders. The sliders are where I will be placing the ESC and the receiver. The front links are the brass ones that come with the chassis. The rear links, I'm using the lighter aluminum links from Injora. I'm using nuts on the rear upper links to secure them to the chassis rails. Normally, RampCrab links have internally threaded pivot balls for their upper links, and that is how the front ones are secured to the chassis rails. This rig is not going to be a high performance crawler, so I'll just be using these Injora aluminum Injora axles. They are the +4mm version. I think they'll be wide enough for my application. I've upgraded the front knuckles to brass, and the servo is made by RampCrab. This is their 6 kg servo. I'm using RampCrab's brass servo mount to attach it to the axle. I have overdrive gears installed in the front axle and stock gears installed in the rear axle. On top of the rear axle is an OGRC axle truss. I just so happen to have one lying around. Injora axles don't come with axle trusses nor servo mount. For shocks, I'll be going with these 40mm Injora big bore shocks. I think it's my first build using these shocks. They should do quite well. They feel pretty good. There doesn't seem like there will be a lot of articulation with this truck, not that I needed to. So I'm thinking perhaps I won't need limiting straps. We'll see. Anyway, let's start putting together the rolling chassis. For wheels and tires, I am using these brass Injora wheels to offset the heavy hard body. As mentioned, the body looks quite limiting in terms of the size of tires I can run. There doesn't seem to be a lot of clearance unless I start cutting it up, which I don't plan to do right now. So I'll be using these small 58mm tires, also from Injora. These are decent tires, just a bit small. Let's pop them on. All right, things are coming along very well. Let's sort out its electronics. The body can accept many LED lights, headlights, brake lights, turn signals. So I will be using this 7-channel receiver from Flysky that has a lighting module built in. I'll also be adding a LED light bar and LED rock lights on the chassis. Both are from Little Guy Racing Parts. I will be plugging them into the auxiliary channels of the receiver, and they'll be separately managed by these switchboards. To control this truck, I have here a Flysky G7P transmitter. This is my favorite style of transmitter. It's compact and simple. This model is equipped with buttons and switches for 7 channels, perfect for this application. All right, the body comes with dark tinted windows, so I'm not gonna worry too much about making these wires look neat. Since the body is attached to the chassis by bolts, it wouldn't be very easily removable to replace the battery. So I'll be using this bigger 900 milliamp hour 2S LiPo. This should provide more than enough runtime for me. It'll be secured right here on the forward battery tray for optimum weight bias. If you like to put the battery in the back, this RampCrab chassis also comes with this rear battery tray, so you can install it right here to put your battery on it and then have the motor face forward. Okay, here is the body fully assembled and wired up. It's a rat's nest of wires on the underside of the body. Thankfully, it has tinted windows. One modification I've made is replacing the boring stock front bumper with this Injora metal bumper to make it a bit more aggressive, and also put a bit of weight on the front end. On top of that, I added some scale details to it, license plate and a fake plastic winch behind it. I drilled some holes on the roof to mount this LED light bar from Little Guy Racing Parts. These are the switchboards controlling this light bar, as well as fog lights and also rock lights. They are plugged into the appropriate channels on the receiver that correspond to the switches I want to use on the transmitter to turn them on and off. Oh yeah, I also added a rooftop tent. It is the rooftop tent of a SCX24 Gladiator. It's a bit small because this body is more 1/18th scale and the SCX24 Gladiator is obviously 1/24th, but it doesn't look too out of place. There are some fairly compact folding rooftop tents these days. Oh, and also the roof rails supporting the tent are actually the roof rack of a SCX24 Bronco, slightly modified to fit. Going back to the chassis, I eventually decided it does need limiting straps, at least in the front. If not for performance, it at least prevent the steering servo from being too visible by keeping it tucked in. So I've installed a RampCrab limiting strap on the servo. It is comprised of a brass bracket that grips onto the servo by using a couple of set screws on the sides. The kit gives you a long string of this rubber band, more than enough for several trucks. The strap itself is thick and beefy. You won't have to worry about it breaking. And also this kit includes extra hardware for you to fab up something for the rear without a servo bracket. How this works is you cut the rubber band to length, wrap it around wherever, and then secure the two ends of the string of rubber in this metal tube thing here. I quite like it. It works very well. Okay, so it's my first time with this Injora brushless setup, the Purple Viper. Do I need to adjust any settings prior to initial power up? I don't know. I don't own a Windows computer to do that. Well, let's just see how it drives. Let me put the body on and test this thing out on my desktop proving ground to see how it performs. I've lifted the body up as high as I can, but the tires still rub. There are several ways to reduce rubbing. In addition to lifting the body, you can trim the fenders, decrease the tire size, adjust the length of the links, or change the offset of the wheels, which is what I think I'm going to do. The tires poke out way too much. It's totally giving me a mud truck vibe. Not that it's bad, mud trucks are very cool, but it's bad when the sound of tires rubbing the front fenders is all I can hear. I think I just need to bring the wheels in a bit, but I can't find brass wheels without negative offset. And this truck does need brass wheels because the body is rather heavy. So I guess I'll need to order a set of axles that aren't extended like these ones are. These are the plus 4mm aluminum axles from Injora. I'll go ahead and purchase a set of stock length axles and use these on something else. I don't want to trim the fenders just yet. I like the way this body looks right now. I don't want to hack it up. Maybe I'll change my mind after I've taken a few stumbles and it looks beat up. And stumbles it will take, this decked out hard body does not help performance. Not only the approach and departure angles are bad, it's much easier to flip this thing over because of its high center of gravity. But those are the sacrifices I'm willing to make for a realistic looking trail truck. The Injora brushless motor and ESC are performing almost as well as the FuriTech systems I have. It doesn't feel as smooth at the extreme low end. By feel, I'd say this is pretty close to the FuriTech Venom. I haven't even looked into adjusting parameters of the ESC yet because that needs to be done on a Windows computer, which I don't have. If anyone knows of a Mac application for tuning AM32 based ESC, please let me know. I couldn't immediately find anything, but out of the box, this Injora system is a perfectly fine option for most people, I imagine. However, I do have one problem with it. When I flipped the dip switch to set its BEC to 7.4 volts, things went haywire. Lights started turning on and off by themselves, the light bar was flashing, and the truck would stop and go randomly. The receiver should be able to support up to 9 volts, so I don't know what happened. Anyway, I will end the video here. The next time you see this truck, it will be just a bit narrower and just a bit lower to help it perform better. I can't wait to take it out with my other trail trucks. Please like and subscribe for videos of more builds. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.